it does exactly what the name is. It allows users to vote over a specific debate. And so the main idea is that on comment streams at the moment, there's just really, there's no way to really engage with the content at the end of a blog post or a news article. Comment streams are just really, sometimes they're ridiculous, they're hard to understand, it takes a lot of time to parse through it and understand what the community thinks. There's really no way to digest that information. So the idea is that the author of the article would post a question to the audience and they would be able to give an up and down vote. There's also internet links that would be associated with that debate so people could actually learn about the content a little bit further before they make a decision. There's also a comment section where people can voice their opinion and rank the comments. So it becomes a deliberative platform. And while the vote totals are increasing, it becomes increasingly noteworthy and interesting. So we would actually push that information back, the results back to the publisher, and that becomes more news that they can share with their readers and engage after they understand what the community thinks. Okay. And so the widget is also centered around a single debate, and that can be placed on any other blog. So a user reading the original blog can actually take the content creator's question and put it on their own blog, and then it would aggregate that information with the original poster. So it really becomes an aggregated pool of information where people can kind of understand what the internet thinks, essentially. And so the users have a really passive engagement. They can vote. They can also contribute more if they'd like to. The publishers are already creating the content. They already understand the context of the content. And so it would just be a little bit further step for them. And the final result is public opinions about really relevant national debates. And so we're already working with a publisher in the Portland, Oregon area. The Willamette Week has been kind enough to take on our project and put our debate at the bottom of their news articles and their widget, their blog posts as well. So we're using their feedback and we should have that implemented here in the next few months. And the parent company of the Willamette Week also owns a couple other weekly papers, so if that goes well, we'll roll out to other weekly papers across the country and see if we can actually turn their comment sections into something more interesting and more beneficial for them. And so they would be creating content as usual and then adding this whole other aspect of engagement after the fact. So that's my presentation, a little bit about where we are, and I look forward to your questions. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, let's vote over it. Who goes first? So, I mean, there's this movement of democratization of influence, so that more and more people, due to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, everybody has influence and everybody raises their voice, and so you are in an interesting and also in the probably difficult space of democracy. I understand that you have these potential deals with publishers. So what is the money you can make out of these publishers? Because obviously those who vote, they don't pay you for allowing to vote, right?
That's correct. So the voting would always be free, users engaging with the platform, and the widget would always be free to try to get the information out there. So the business model would be oriented towards the publishers, and they would be receiving this whole other realm of interactivity that they can provide to their users. They would also be receiving the feedback from their users based on the content that they're creating. So we think that really adds value to the content that they're creating anyways. So we would charge them a yearly subscription in order to curate their information in our database, but also to make sure that all of the votes are anonymous when they come out of it, to secure privacy and update them of the results. They can even customize the notifications that they'd like to get out of the application based on a certain area or a certain percentage.
How long has this been live? And I'm still trying to figure out how you're going to make money doing this, all right? So if you can, besides the subscription, I mean, what else are you looking at to generate revenue? And in order for this thing to, we're always looking for big ideas. We're always looking for ideas that can go global. And what are you looking at in terms of like even a yearly number? What's your year one revenues that you're looking at right now based on what you're doing right now?
So that's a great question. So we've looked at a potential customer base of weekly newspapers, just in the US here. Weekly newspapers, daily newspapers, also bloggers, political action committees, people who are engaging in the content and have users that are following them and the content that they distribute. So on top of that revenue model, with the subscriptions, there would also be a vast database that people could ping and just ask what, they'd get API queries that come out of it. So even if they aren't actively pushing the content and engaging with the users, they'd still be able to benefit from the questions they're being asked. Oh, and in terms of year one, so we looked at about 24,000 potential customers. So if we can move towards the larger institutions and the bigger newspapers, we think a $2,000 yearly subscription would be reasonable considering the value that we're adding. So that works out to about a $40 million market, but obviously we wouldn't have full market saturation in a year. We think that 15% is not unreasonable to try to get to in the first year or two with traction, and so that would be about a $60 million revenue stream.
Again, another product kind of question. If I'm going to vote, do you know who I am? Am I anonymous when I vote?
If you don't sign up, yes. So we are tracking.
Why would I sign up?
So we are tracking IP addresses to make sure we know that it's an individual voting and not a bot, essentially. But if you'd like to sign up through your Facebook account, you start to gain points for however many votes you make, comments you make, links that you contribute. So all of the actions that you take on the site and on the widget would actually increase your influence on the site. And we have a whole scheme that we haven't developed yet where you can actually spend that influence on debates. So if you come across a debate that you think that should get out in front of a lot of people, you can actually spend your influence points to get that promoted more and in front of more people.
It seems like the value of the data that you collect would be great if you knew what I was voting for, and you could report that back to someone who gave a rat what I thought, right? So if the Republican Party wants to know what I think about this question, and there's been 50 questions and I responded to all of them, wow, this guy is like not on our team, or whatever. That would be valuable data that you could turn around and generate revenue with, right? But it sounds to me like you're not in a position to do that right now.
So we're still in beta. We don't have the users that we'd like. So yes, our database is not as valuable as we'd like at the moment. But we are looking for beta users, and I hand out my cards. You guys are all welcome to come to the site and tell us what you think. Click around a little bit. But yeah, so on the back end, we definitely separate your name from all of your demographic information and the comments and the votes that you make in terms of securing your privacy. But we do have a demographic component to our database where you can actually contribute your age and your ethnicity, your household size, your income level to try to get at specifically who thinks what, which would be the valuable component.
I hope you don't feel like we're pinning you against the wall or any of the other people that have presented, but there's the old story, and some of us here in this room kind of go back to this when we remember when Oracle, Sybase, and Informix all had 20% of the marketplace, and there were articles almost being printed every day in the San Francisco Chronicle about who's going to break through. Well, Larry Ellison increased his sales force by about 200%, and look what happened. Okay, so there's a reason why we're asking you these questions about revenue, go-to-market plans, how are you going to make money and everything, because it's important. It's as important as the idea that you're presenting here. And for you guys that are out there that still want to talk to some of us on the board and everything like that, I'm not going to be able to speak for Axel and Bob, but for myself, I want to know how you're going to make money. That is really a big concern of mine. It's as important to me as your ability as an engineer or a programmer to put together the things that we're seeing tonight and everything. So just keep that in mind, all right? Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Tony. Now we had all presentations. We have one last vote from the jury for vote over it for Tony. We have two, so 7 in total. Thanks a lot. But now I'm also asking you guys for the vote. Let me just open, I created a poll where you can just via email, via SMS or via Twitter